It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and this is CarEdge Live for Friday, May 16th. Oh, and it's also 9 a.m. in Sacramento, and well, it's 11 a.m. where our guest today, Steve, is. Your host today, as always, since my son's still in Japan, is me, Ray, joined with Justise and our dear friend of ours, Mr. Stephen Maisel, who is one of our CarEdge concierges. Good morning, good morning to you two. How are you guys doing today?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for allowing us to have you. I must start with, we believe in truth in advertising. So having said that, we believe almost in the truth of our headlines in order to get people to click and watch the show. So I will sit here and admit that we desperately search for clickbaitable stuff to use as headlines, and Toyota came out with an announcement that, well, as Justise had says, it's shock. Toyota is shocking the industry with a quiet revolution. So we'll go right to that because the three of us are trying to figure out what the big deal is. But what it is Toyota used to forecast to their suppliers, of which they have, I had no idea they have as many as they do.
I didn't either. That was what got me, Ray. I went, wait, they're gonna roll it out to 700 more. Like what?
Yeah, how many people? Yeah, that was the only shocking thing in here.
Yeah, that what got to me too. Yeah, I felt kind of silly. I figured you knew.
but this whole concept is that for forever they have utilized these handwritten spreadsheets so that they can forecast out to their suppliers what their needs are going to be on a quarterly basis. And with the aid of artificial intelligence, they are now able to do those projections for an entire year in one fell swoop. Now, that's great. That's one. I guess if you're a supplier, you care. But the thing that I found amazing in the article was, one, they're rolling it out to their top 100 suppliers now, and eventually they're going to roll it out to another 700, and they buy, what was it, 60 billion parts from suppliers a year at a total cost of $70 billion. Is that what it said in the article? If I remember, the other way around. So they buy 70 billion parts at a cost of $60 billion annually. I mean, geez, how many parts go into a car? So having said that, probably stolen everybody's thunder here. What do you make of it, Justise and Steve?
Well, I was shocked that we already said, like, the one thing that got me was how many suppliers they have. I'm like, you're going to roll it out to 700 more. So that means you have 800
minimum
suppliers in there minimum. Like that is about 700 more than I thought. I'm very surprised. I guess I just don't know about that side of the business. And 70 billion parts for $60 billion doesn't sound like the parts are that expensive.
Well, just a little less than $1 a piece.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, okay.
So I guess maybe some of the nuts and bolts are a lot less than $1 a piece.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, I'm just guessing, I don't know, leather seats have to be more than $1. I'm guessing.
I bet, right? You'd think so. Yeah. Steve, did you know about how this all works? This is all news to me.
No, I don't. But if it means efficiency, if it means being able to get what you need when you need it, then great. I think anything that can make things more effective or more efficient and hopefully drive down costs, I'm a fan of.
I think we all would be. I think, Justise, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we should, I at least, should properly introduce Steve and who he is and what he does. Steve is part of our concierge team. And I'll let Steve explain to you how the hell he got here. But because it is probably one of the more fascinating stories to get to work at CarEdge. And so I want you to give a little bit about your background, and then I want to ask you if you could delve into what the most important aspects of doing the concierge work are.
And before you start, Steve, let me say this. Ray, you don't know this either, but I went through to try to find all of the reviews that Steve gets.
Yeah,
I know Steve gets a lot of positive reviews from his customers all the time. I literally could not get enough. There were way more than I could even count. I almost just sort of gave up, and there's too many. I can't bring that many on screen. That is how many amazing reviews Steve gets from his customers all the time. I've never had to say that. But I just kind of gave up on taking screenshots of how many good reviews there were because I wanted to bring them up. But I will just say this to simplify it all. Steve is the most reviewed concierge we have, and I've never gotten a bad review.
Wow. Okay. Now, Steve, now you have to live up to all that and explain to us your background and how the hell you got here.
Yes, it's a long story, but I'm going to keep it short. I started out of college at Apple Computer and worked there for 15 years doing all kinds of wonderful things, including customer relations, sales. I was a sales manager for a while, did Apple Care support, and wound up doing the product marketing manager role for a new product at the time called the Apple Care Protection Plan. I helped bring that to market. So if you buy the Apple Care Protection Plan on the products you buy, that was something I helped develop.
Do you get a residual for everyone that gets Oh, you should have negotiated that deal better.
Yes, I should have. But I worked at Apple for 15 years and decided I wanted a new change. So I quit, and without having any experience, I moved to Los Angeles and became a casting director for TV and film. And so that was a whole different shift, but I loved it. I got to work with actors, and secretly I wanted to be an actor in Hollywood, but I didn't have faith or confidence in my talent or my ability to act well. So I figured, if I can't act on TV and film, how could I act? And the answer was become a casting director, because I got to act with actors as they auditioned. And nobody except the actor and a few producers knew how terrible I was as an actor. So that dream came true. And I did that for 15 years in Hollywood.
Wow.
And then I moved away from Hollywood to Austin, Texas, where I'm currently residing. And I became a content marketing manager at a software company and did content marketing work. And that led to my job at Silicon Valley Bank, also as a content marketing manager. And then that bank went through some problems and shut down. And as a result, I was laid off, along with many other people. So eventually I found my way, when looking for new work, to watch some of your videos with you and Zach. And I loved it. I fell in love immediately watching CarEdge videos. And I had to learn more about the company because I decided I was going to work with CarEdge. And when I delve into my research, at the time there was a CarEdge concierge role open. I applied, interviewed, and here I am today.
That is probably a journey that no one else in the company can even come close to. If I may, just for my ego for a moment, if you were still in your casting director role and you came across a short, fat, balding guy like me, well, bald. I always say balding because I'm hopeful, but it's really a short, fat, bald guy. What role do you think I could possibly handle? in Hollywood or elsewhere?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that question, and I hope you're ready because I'm actually casting a project right now.
Yes.
And I think you'd be a great pharmacist by the name of Bob.
I could answer to Bob.
Yeah. And Bob likes to gossip. He is the town gossip, and he's got a juicy story for his friend Molly. And so we're going to focus in on you telling this gossip that you learned about two other people and their argument. And so I can see you being pretty lively as Bob.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, look for me to appear on a small screen somewhere other than this one in the role of Bob.
Yes.
Well, it's good to know that I might be able to get a job other than what I do now.
Of course, you have to audition first, so I'm going to evaluate your audition.
No, I understand. We can do that after the show. So you're a concierge. Why in your right mind did you say to yourself, I want to be able to help people buy cars?
Throughout my life, I've been a car lover. And so because of that, I've always been drawn to cars. And my friends and family knew that. And they didn't love cars or they didn't love buying cars. And so they would always take me along with them. And they always let me lead the conversation with the dealer because I happened to know about cars and purchasing cars. And so for me, it was a fun hobby just to help my family member and friends. And so when I saw this position available, I figured, wow, I can do what I love full time. Wow. And so for me, it was an easy choice to help other people learn about the process of car purchasing and help them find the car that they want to drive.
As a concierge, when a lead comes in, let me explain one thing to everybody. I have no earthly idea how our concierge business works. Okay, so when they get, I have no idea how leads are dispensed. I know none of that. So I'm going to start with the basics. When a lead comes in, what is it that as a concierge that you think needs to be done first?
It's actually my favorite part of the whole process. My favorite part is getting to know and being introduced to a customer for the first time. Generally, I'll send a welcome email to introduce myself, and then I follow that up with a text asking for a time that we can meet. Personally, I like meeting over video conference, over phone call, because in that first meeting, after we introduce each other and get to know one another, I actually demonstrate how my process will go and how it is to partner with them. So I get a lot of information, excuse me, I get a lot of information from the customer as far as what they're expecting from CarEdge, how they learned about us, what's important in the car purchase. I ask what their priorities are as far as what the features of the car are going to be. I really want to learn everything they hope for. And sometimes everything they hope for is right on the mark and we can deliver that. Other times there has to be a back and forth or a trade-off decision in what we can actually find. And so part of that first meeting is demonstrating the search, how I go about, what the tools are that I use. I've created an info sheet that I fill out for each customer, and all the details they tell me, I capture in that info sheet. And I do that for each and every deal that I work.
I need to interrupt for 1 second and ask a very important question.
Yes.
Have you shared that info sheet with every other concierge at CarEdge?
I have.
Okay, good. I am so glad to hear that.
Yes, it's just a simple sheet, but when you're dealing with 5, 6, 10 customers at one time, and each customer has 8, 10 cars, you can get things mixed up really easily. So in order for me to stay organized and keep details in one place, I use the info sheet that I've created. And I capture all that in the info sheet, and then I move all that detail, excuse me, to our system that we use to keep track of all the deals. So for me, it's just really keeping those details organized and making sure that I'm on track with each customer that I work with.
Wow. Justice, you have a look on your face that says you want to add something to the party here.
Steve has sent me his sheet.
Yes.
Yeah, he's modest to say the least. It is not a simple sheet. It is a very, very robust sheet. And Steve is the detail master, which is why he gets such good reviews from people. He really gets in there and gets into those details more than most people that I see. Now, I don't see all of our concierge work, so I can't speak to them, but just in general in business, like Steve is so detail oriented and his calls go so well that he rarely has to double do his work. And I think that is all a testament to what he does up front. And Steve, just real fast, we have some people here asking, what is concierge? Is it commission based? How are things assigned? Is it round robin? Like, just explain to people who don't know what the concierge business is, what it is that you do for people.
Okay, so yesterday, many of you met Debbie and Trisha, and I work closely with both of them to understand what work we have available to us. So when you as a client come in and order negotiation or concierge, it goes into a big, large pool of orders coming in, and then our management staff, either Ryan, Trisha, or Debbie, will distribute those deals to concierges that have the bandwidth or the open desk to take on more deals. So once we get those deals, then we start the process by introducing ourselves. And there's a nice fee that we get for each deal that we work. And so that's how we make our income. And the more opportunities we have to work with more clients, the better off we do. So,
but real fast, Steve, just to be clear, you get paid based on the fee that they are paying CarEdge, right? You are not getting paid by any of the dealers on the back end or anything like that.
That's correct. My compensation comes from a portion of the money that you pay for the service. And so I don't get paid from anybody else. Just that fee that you pay for the service, a portion of that comes to me. And then the dealers that we work with, I don't get compensated from them at all. My compensation only comes from the deal itself.
Interesting. Now, I am sure somebody in the chat is going to ask, well, typically, how many customers are you working with at one time? So I'll ask it. Typically, Steve, how many customers are you working with at one time?
It really depends. Generally, I would say on average, somewhere between 8 and 12. If it's slow, maybe 5. Customers at one time. But I keep pretty busy.
Well, it sounds.
That's why he needs his sheet, his detailed sheet.
That's right.
Well, I was going to say when I was actually actively involved in dealerships, and I'd be working 3 or 4 deals at the same time with 3 or 4 salespeople, and there might have been a customer who we were on one trim level, then he went to a different trim level, and we were working a lease at 15,000 miles a year, and then he wanted to know what it was at 12 and what it was at 10, and I used to get confused all the time because I was working 5, 6, 7 deals at one time, and within the confines of any one of those deals, I could be working 3 or 4 different vehicles on that customer's deal. And I understand how easy it is to make a mistake. Where you think you're working on one trim level, but yet you're really quoting the payment on a different trim level, and it was like, oh, I just screwed up here. Well, there's something I'm going to have to eat because we made a mistake. It's difficult to keep track of all that. I don't know how the hell you could have 5 customers at one time, let alone 8 to 12.
It keeps every day fresh, and certainly there are some challenges. And, I make mistakes, which is why I like to be detailed, because I try to reduce the number of mistakes I make. But I'm of the philosophy that when I make a mistake, I communicate it, I tell people about it, and I apologize, and I try to solve any mistake that I make. I like to be a solutions giver, not a problem maker.
I will say this: when I was running dealerships, and one of the first things I learned was if you made a mistake, own it.
Mm-hmm.
Just own it. Admit up to it. Take responsibility for it. Explain to the. I mean, I remember one time we did a lease on an NSX, and the lease that I worked out, the payment that I worked out was for a model year newer than the model year he bought. And so the residual was incorrect. And I had to bring him back. And my first question to him was, have you ever found yourself making a mistake? And he goes, well, yeah, I'm human. Everybody makes a mistake. I said, I'm glad to hear that, because I made a huge one on your deal. And I showed him what the mistake was, and he understood. But it's, you have to take ownership of it, because everybody in any business will make mistakes occasionally. So bless you for taking ownership and trying to smooth things over when you do. It's so much simpler to tell the truth than to try and cover it up, at least in my opinion. What, Steve, what is the most challenging aspect of what you do you think?
The first thing that comes to mind is sometimes having a great car that the customer is excited about and working with a dealer that's resistant to allowing me to represent the customer and negotiate on their behalf. I still work with dealers that who are not CarEdge dealer partners, not part of our network, that require the customer to be at the dealer and to negotiate on their own without any assistance. And that doesn't allow me to get the job done for them. So sometimes we have to steer away from those dealers if that's their policy to work in that fashion. I can't do much to negotiate on that car. So that's upsetting for the customer sometimes to realize that in order to get the service completed, we'll have to work on a different car through a different dealership.
It's unfortunate that there's still dealers out there that operate that way. I mean, it is literally 2025, I do believe. And we have enough technology today that there is no excuse for a dealer to say, oh, I can't negotiate with you unless you're here. No, that's a choice. You are choosing not to negotiate with us because the customer's not there. It's not a wise choice, in my opinion. It's a choice in all these businesses, and that's why I guess we have at this point in excess of 500 dealer partners that realize they're making a business choice every day as to how it is they want to operate their business. Justise, I know there's some things you want to ask, so I am going to shut up for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll let Justise ask some questions.
So I actually just want to go through some of the questions that we've had in the chat here, because at CS we get a lot of these questions all the time too, that we answer, and I think it's great for Steve to answer some of these, or tell me why you cannot answer some of them. Well, so I'm going to pull up the first one, and Steve is nice enough to be able to tell me why this is not able to be answered. On average, how much below MSRP are you able to save a customer?
Well, it can be answered. It can be answered in a number of different ways, because each deal and each car and each customer is going to get a different result. So I personally don't have the mathematics skills nor the brain to figure out what the true average is, because I haven't, the dynamics are different for each individual situation. Sometimes I can get a great deal off MSRP because the car is available at almost every dealer, and there's so many options out there that it's great getting a discount because the dealer wants to get that off their lot. In other cases, a car is so rare and hard to find because everybody wants one, that discount is not going to be great, and maybe there won't be any discount. I've seen MSRP be the discount because the car was found and the customer was able to purchase the car because it wasn't on hold or pre-sold to another customer. So that's going to change with each and every customer we work with.
Yeah, each customer, each region, and I think what you alluded to, each vehicle. You know, if you're going in for a BMW X5, it's a little bit different of a story than a Lexus RX 350 hybrid, right? Those savings aren't anywhere near each other. Those vehicles aren't anywhere near. So, you know, that's one thing I hear a lot when they come in before they get to talk to you. They ask us and see us, well, how much are you going to save me? Well, that's too big of a question.
One way I answer that, Justise, is you know, I talk about what the customer's expectations are for a potential discount, and I like to give a lot of different scenarios for what could happen. You know, I try to predict the future, even though I'm not really good at that. So I'll give them a few different ideas of what could happen in our search and with our discount discussion. But I also stress other savings that each client has in the fact that many people don't have time to go and negotiate with the dealer, or they do have the time, but they don't have the interest or the knowledge or the willpower to negotiate with the dealer. So if they use concierge or negotiation, they are saving the aggravation that is sometimes involved. They are saving the time to go to the dealer and sit there for a few hours. So there are other savings besides just the discount that the customer is going to enjoy by using our service. And I always stress out those particular savings because those are sometimes as important as the money discount.
Absolutely. Ray, I just want to lob you a softball question real fast.
Okay. What region has the highest dock fees? Oh, Florida, the wild, wild west of dock fees. Yeah, I have never seen dock fees as high as what you can encounter. I would say the low average for a dock fee in Florida is probably $999. We have encountered dock fees that are well in excess of $1,000. You know,
I think average is $1,500 right now, right, Steve?
Oh, it's okay. So
average is $1,500.
So let's say the average is $1,500. So, do you think if the dealer is automatically going to charge you $1,500 dock fee, that is pure profit, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think they could advertise their car for $1,500 less than everybody else because they know they're going to get that $1,500 right back from you? And that's some of the things that you have to realize that go on in the car business. I mean, dock fees allow dealers to advertise artificially low prices, A, that they have really no intention of honoring, and B, they know they're going to more than make up for it because of those dock fees.
Unfortunately, I don't see them lowering the cost of their vehicles to compensate for that. In my experience, I haven't been doing it for a while. Steve, do you see them like advertising a lower price on their vehicle to account for that dock fee? Because I usually see the opposite, like where the Advantage package at the dealership down there. That's the $1,500 dock fee plus all the add-ons that they're forcing onto every vehicle. I don't see them like trying to play the game and discount, but then have a secret dock fee. No, they're content to just go, nope, you're just going to pay everything.
Yeah,
I have seen examples of both and that's part of the conversation I have with customers during the consultation call is, you know, you may get excited about that price you see on the internet for that particular car, but that isn't always the price they're going to sell the car for. And so, you know, that's just a way to bring more people in to discuss the car and to hopefully get the car sold. So, that's part of the game, that is part of the business. And so I always explain to customers, don't get too excited about what you see. Let me go through the process and really investigate by getting the out the door quote with all the fees, the taxes, the add-ons, the markups. And then I don't really focus on negotiating individual line items like a doc fee, because I won't get anywhere. I won't, that is not going to be a successful strategy. I will negotiate on the out the door price. And that's where we have the most power and the ability to really find the best discount.
Well, and if I may, when you're negotiating the out the door price like that, you are not saying to the dealer where the discount has to come from to get to that out the door price. You're basically saying to them, here's the price we're willing to pay. I'll let you figure out your math, how you're going to get there and what it is you're going to cut to get there. But if you go line by line item, they're going to fight you tooth and nail on every one of them.
And we won't win the battle most of that time.
Exactly.
So you're right. I really like only focusing on the out the door quote. I've had some customers say, you know what, let's get $400 off of that doc fee if you can. And, we have to have a reset and say, I might be able to get you that $400, but it might not come from the doc fee. And here's the approach that I'd like to take. And that is something I also do with the customers I work with. I am pretty communicative in that I kind of update everything along the way, but I also like to get agreement on the negotiation strategy before I actually go to the dealer. So I explain my rationale and my thinking and how I get to the counter offer I'd like to make. And I find out from the customer if that's agreeable or if they have concerns or issues, and we talk out that together so that by the time I'm making a counter offer, not only does the customer know what's happening, but they agree with my strategy.
Excellent. I can tell Justice has more comments from the audience. So,
no, I was agreeing with Steve. I like to hear that things haven't changed that much since I was coaching and doing it. I was like, because Steve hit on a very important point that I think a lot of people miss. They go to the line item.
Yes.
Take this off, take that off, take that off. I've said so many times, if you're going to buy a $25,000 car, they have a $20,000 doc fee and a $1 selling price for the car. Don't fight the doc fee. Take the damn deal and run. That doesn't matter where the mix in it is. Say you concentrate on that out the door. If they want to throw in a paint protection film interior, but that out the door all looks great, take it. Who cares? Fine, they're throwing you stuff for free, but don't pay for stuff you don't want. But to Steve's point, I've had so many times where you focus on that line item. Well, I don't want this. All you're giving them is ammunition to fight back. And then the more inexperienced people, the uneducated people, will actually try to do things that are on the Monroney label as well. I've seen that too. They're like, oh, I don't want the power seats. Well, that's what's in this car. That's not something. So you start to lose all of your power when you do that. And that's what I always try to educate people. When you start going after stuff like that and they push back, you're losing all of your negotiating power because now they think you don't know what you're doing. Because that's where we have our experts like Steve, and you guys saw Jerry and Brian and Z and all of our great concierge here who know how to get those down. And looking at that out the door is always the right way. Steve said it best. Those still come up all the time. I know we have a comment here from EC. I think I'd feel comfortable working with Steve, but I'm sure everyone at CarEdge is friendly and personable. I will say this. I have said this to Zach's face many times. He has an ability to hire like nobody I've ever seen. He builds amazing team of people. And I can't think of anyone on the concierge team that I wouldn't be just proud to say, yeah, go out and do that. I mean, I wouldn't mention their name if there was somebody, but I wouldn't say that statement either. There's nobody on our team that I'd be like, oh, I don't know that you can give. I'd be happy no matter who it was. Yeah, they're going to do great.
I know when I was running dealerships and I would be interviewing people and who wanted to come to work for us. And one of the things that I used to share with them is, you can talk to any of the staff in here, and one of the things you're going to find out is, I don't know if I can say, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm Ray, so I'm going to say it anyway. I used to say, you can check with the staff, and you're going to find out we have no assholes working here unless I'm the one, and I don't believe that I am. So if you are going to be an asshole, this is not the store for you. And that was pretty much the way I think Zach looks at things. He tries to find people that we all share a common belief in, that we want to make this easier for people and we want to fight on their behalf. And it's much more fun when you surround yourself with those kind of people, but it's difficult to find those people. And, the team has done a great job of doing that.
And to Zach's credit, Steve, how many years in the auto industry did you have before you started working here?
That is an amazing question. It's probably not what you think, but I'll tell you, I worked at a car dealership when I was 17, 18 years old, in between semesters or during the summer, at a Ford dealership in San Jose, where I grew up. And I was the guy answering the switchboard. So I didn't do sales. And then I was the receptionist in the body shop. So that was my experience, and that's it. I have no car experience. CarEdge is my first car working with dealers, my first experience in buying cars on a formal basis. And I started in August of 2024. So thanks to Justice's training program, and he was my trainer, and the experiences that I've learned with these customers, I feel like I'm an expert now, and I'm really proud of how much I've accomplished in such a short period of time.
You definitely are an expert now, and I've said this before. Like, a lot of our concierges have, we talked to Jerry the other day, who has almost as much experience as Ray does, or more. I came in with 31 dates of experience when I started, but now I'm 4 years in, and I will tell you, I still coach people in my private life, and I don't do it here anymore because we have people like Steve, and I don't rob Steve of his job. But I know car deals now, and that's great. And Zach is great at what Ray said. Like, it's about the common vision. We can teach the rest of it. You had a little bit of experience. Jerry came in with all the experience. I had very little. I had to learn everything from Ray when I started. So and it's been great to be here and part of all of that.
It's not to pat us on the back, but it's a mindset, and it's just this desire on a daily basis to be able to get up and help people. I've had some workmen in my apartment, as people have seen over the course of this year, because heating issues and other things. And one of the things that I said to somebody the other day is, it doesn't cost anything to be nice to people. The actual reality is that it pays to be nice to people, because when you are nice to people, they want to be nice back to you. And I know that's hard for people to accept coming from me, because, well, my God, he was a big bad car dealer for 43 years. Didn't mean I wasn't nice to people. Didn't mean I didn't counsel people as to why it wasn't in their best interest to buy a car right now. And so I just think that when we surround ourselves with people like that, it makes the company better. We provide a better product and a better experience for people. And so I guess that was a long-winded way of saying thank you to Justice, and thank you to Steve, and thank you to the team, because there are no assholes on that team that I am aware of. So
there are not. Like Steve said, I actually helped train most of the concierge as they came through in the beginning. I'm not going to say that they're doing what they do because I trained them. I just gave them the basics of what CarEdge is, and their skill is their skill. But yeah, I mean, we don't have anybody like. I'm not going to say everyone made it through training. I'll put it that way. That we have weeded out a couple people, but really even then, not many. People who come here for the right reasons, I think. And Ray, we do have
Yes.
a lovely, generous donation from Michael P.
Well, thank you, Michael P.
Yes, thank you, because you guys don't donate when I'm on.
Yeah. Steve, awesome career trajectory. It's evident why customers appreciate you. Ray, Steve's story is a great testament to all you and Zach have created. Great week on here. Have a wonderful weekend, gentlemen. Well, thank you, Michael. That, sometimes it's the remuneration that means something, and sometimes it's just the words that mean even more. We catch a lot of flack. I do read the comments, and I shouldn't, because I don't like to get aggravated. But most of the comments are really positive comments, and there's a reason why we do what we do. And to be able to read what Michael wrote, that means more to me than anything. So it's a testament to you guys, actually.
I agree. I think the culture here, Steve is a perfect example of our culture here, of the kind of people that we are lucky enough to work with and get to see and deal with on a daily basis. And, and I think that sets us apart from some of the other YouTubers. Like, okay, I get Ray, you're on YouTube, but I rarely think of you as like a YouTuber, as you're representing the company, CarEdge, and what we do. And there are, other people live and wallow in the mud. Yes, we do hyperbolic headlines, but everyone who watches all the time, you remember the 2 weeks that Zach didn't do them and viewership was in half. So don't pretend you don't click on the hyperbolic, because you do. But outside of that, we don't live in the negative. We really try not to. We try to bring you the news and analysis of the news. Sometimes that's negative, but I think Steve is a perfect example of what the real culture at CarEdge versus YouTube is. I think everything that you've said, Steve, comes across. I think everyone here in the comments could see who you are. All of your customers that I've ever dealt with are great. They're very, very happy. So, I thank you for that. I thank you for all that you do here. And it's a pleasure to work with people like you guys.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I enjoy working with each of you and the CarEdge team just as much. It's really an honor. It's so nice to work at a company and work with the customers that we have, where we're making a difference. And for me, one of the best parts of this whole experience is how happy customers are when they purchase or lease their cars. I always ask them to send me a picture with them standing in front of or next to their car, so I can remember them. I have friendships that I've built with some of these customers well past the purchase of the car. And it's really enhanced the quality of my life dealing with the people that we deal with. Since I'm a car guy and I'm very passionate about it, I get excited almost as if I'm the one buying the car every time something works out well. So for me, it's a daily personal victory. And I'm hoping that the customers that I get to work with and all CarEdge customers feel the same way. And it really does motivate me to do as well as I can.
I just real fast, not that I know the answer to this already, but what's the best car out there, Steve?
The best car out there?
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, it's a Mustang, because I love Mustangs. As you can see behind me, everything in my world is Mustang, including this little guy. This is what my current car, the real car, looks like. I'm a total Mustang fan.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have 2 votes apparently for Mustang.
All right.
Well, Justice gets very excited, even though he drives his Model 3. That's okay.
I love my Model 3, but if you asked me to trade it for a 68 fastback, I would give you the card right now.
Okay.
My first car was a 68 coupe.
See, and my first car was a 67 Plymouth Valiant. Yeah, well, we can't all get winners as our first car.
Well, my first car was a 78 El Camino.
Okay, that's
3
nice.
on the tree.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank both of you. Steve, thank you so much for spending the time with us today. Justice, thank you for being here. Thank you for filling in so ably for Zach this week. Zach is still in Japan, not scheduled to come back from Japan until, I believe, next Friday. So it'll be Justice and I and others next week. Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you for being here today, and we look forward to seeing you back here on Monday. Thank you, everybody.